reported also having headaches later in the day. The Monroe City Fire Department detected high levels of carbon monoxide in the building. Church officials said 54 people reported feeling symptoms, with 49 of those being treated and being hospitalized. The church said a malfunction in the building's heating system is believed to be the cause. It's death, doom, and destruction! Portions of Utah are under a winter weather advisory starting today. The alert goes into effect at noon for Washington, Iron, Beaver, and Kane counties. Except it doesn't. It does for the southern Utah mountains, where they can get 5 to 10 inches so far, and I will yet refresh again to see if they've changed this. So far, our National Weather Service has yet to issue a winter weather advisory for us here in Cedar City, or Milford, or Panguitch even. The media just can't stop. They can't. They just panic. You need to be in panic all the time. That's why it's whirling the handbasket. Mostly cloudy. We're going to get snow today. Maybe a half an inch or so through the day. Another inch tonight. Maybe another inch tomorrow. Don't be stupid on the roads. That's all I'm asking. What are you laughing over at me? What are you laughing at over there?
Well, I'm the insurance agent asking you not to drive stupidly too.
Okay.
So, slow down. Make sure your windows are all clear. Like, all of your windows are clear before taking off. You know, it's so you can see other people and other people can see you. Make sure your headlights are cleared off. I mean, the whole gamut of it.
I love the people out there who see someone driving slow in snow and saying, "You don't know how to drive in the snow." And I go, no, they exactly know how to drive in the snow.
Yeah, and if you're not comfortable driving in the snow, just slide over. Just move over safely and let other people pass you.
I have to tell you that. So I'm up in Idaho and
Okay.
driving to work one night, and it's not just snowing. We're on the ice rink. It is solid ice on this road. Solid ice.
Oh.
And so I'm driving, I mean, it literally is solid ice all the way, 26-mile drive. And I'm driving, and I thought a pretty good speed for what I'm doing. But I know it's slick out there. So
Yeah.
this idiot in a 4-wheel drive comes up right on my bumper, like, "Get out of the way." And I go, "Okay, dude, it's all yours."
Yeah,
So
don't be that guy.
He pulls over to pass me, and to show me just how cool he is, as he's pulling in front of me, he guns his truck. How good am I? Right? And I said, "Oh, this is going to be fun." So
Right, back off.
I take the foot off the gas and watch this guy go to the left side of the road, back swerving to the right side of the road, left side of the road, right side of the road, spins around and goes off into the barrel pit and is stuck. And I just waved at him as I went by. I said, "Oh, thanks."
But seriously, so don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Lower 40s for the high day, lower 20s tonight. We don't need to do sports. We need to do sports. Jazz host Pistons tonight. There's your sports.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, that's all you need. So I guess we can get on to it here, okay? Let me ask you a question.
All right. Ask me a question.
Because I want to talk to the insurance part of you for just a minute, okay?
Okay.
So can you drop people if they have been idiots driving in the snow? Can you say, "No, we're not going to insure you anymore"?
So let me rephrase the question. Can I fire a client?
Can your company say, "We're not going to do that anymore"?
Yes. They have a generic way. With structures, it's called a fire line. With autos, it's called a risk factor. But if you have so many tickets or so many things, and then like an SR22, which is a financial responsibility, you have to prove to the state that you have insurance for 3 years. Companies, Farm Bureau is one of those companies, right? They can set certain parameters around what agents write or what we would favor more than not based on those parameters. Like you can only have so many tickets, or you can't have an SR22, or you have to live, like your house has to be in a validated address. So it just kind of depends, but all companies do that.
If you've had too many wrecks, they say, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, and a lot of companies are doing that right now. Like, we're in a very interesting insurance time right now. Like, we saw real estate go through kind of some unicorn years, low interest rates, high demand, everybody moving and transitioning, right?
Right.
Insurance is now going through that same type of deal where they're reevaluating what states they want to write in.
Like California, for example.
Like California or like Hawaii.
Oh, really? Is Hawaii?
Right. We've had catastrophic losses in Hawaii. We've had
from disasters and stuff.
Well, that fire in Maui.
Oh yeah, of course. Okay, sure.
Right. You know, you go into Florida and Texas. They're huge flood zones, and they're huge. I mean, we complain about our $100 to $200 a month for our home insurance. Some people say pay less. Some people pay more. It just depends, right? They pay.
I must say ours is like. I think our annual premium is like $600 a month or $600 for the year.
Right, which is cheap.
That's pretty reasonable, right?
But like in high risk states, they're paying hundreds of dollars a month just for homeowners insurance, and they have a multi-$1,000 deductible type of a thing.
So you're telling me don't buy that house in Kauai?
I'm just saying you will pay the associated risk factor for the premium. And with winter season coming up, and we should have had snow by now, and I'm grateful we're getting snow, and I am the moisture, grateful for the moisture here. But along that line, Wired Wednesday on Facebook, Wired Wednesday or McKinnon Hansen Wired Wednesday does have tips and tricks for driving in snow. We're trying to push some better, more applicable information out there through that. And today we're going to be talking about the Utah Farm Bureau Federation, Iron County chapter specifically, and that information will also be posted on the Wired Wednesday live feed of this show every week. Some weeks I run out of technology smarts and it baffles me, so some shows are not posted, but we try to get all the shows posted onto Wired Wednesday with McKinnon Hansen. And with all of that being said, and Farm Bureau Financial Services is actively pursuing new clients all the time. We are in a very good competitive market right now. For structural costs being rebuilt, I just encourage everybody to go through a simple calculation. It's about $200 a square foot to build right now. Regardless of if your house was built in the 60s or if it was built in 2020, you want to make sure that your coverage amount on your structure is about $200 a square foot. Anybody paying less than $100 a month for adequate auto insurance, and adequate would be either 100,000, 300,000, 100,000 limits, or what's called a 300,000 combined single limit. If you're not paying around $100 for that, you may want to look into your liability coverages or speak to your agent about making sure that those are increased, because the cost of a Toyota Corolla now is like $35,000.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Trucks out there, if you hit a truck, I'm not saying you need to own expensive vehicles, but if you hit expensive vehicles and you don't have the proper liability coverages, you could be at risk for that as well. So, with all that being said, how are you, Scott?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. And thanks, Dr. T, for making sure we're talking about insurance a little bit too. So what's really cool about the Utah Farm Bureau Federation in the Iron County region specifically is we have a monthly meeting.
Yes, yep. Every second Thursday of every month.
Every month.
7 o'clock we have our monthly meeting.
And it's at the Hampton Inn.
And it's at the Hampton Inn. We usually have some topic where we talk about. This next, on the 11th, we are going to have a bunch of our legislators and 10 different county farm bureaus come. And we've got, a half a dozen people that are going to speak about agriculture and whatnot, and we have really good representation from the South, but we just want to kind of go through things with them before the legislative session to remind them about agriculture, because every one of us relies on our food supply.
Right, absolutely. And what's really cool is last year we did the same type of meeting in January, and it was such a success. We had over 50 people in the room.
I think it was about 80.
Yeah, and the legislative individuals, like the influence legislation and have multiple years in office and different things were in that room and they heard our voice.
Yes, yes.
And they made impactful changes while they were at legislative session in the spring that influenced all of agriculture. And it was really incredible because, to my knowledge, now I have a very limited knowledge, but Iron County is one of the only federation chapters that does that and allows and invites legislative bodies to come because we want to make sure people know and that the legislation knows what's going on with agriculture.
Yeah, so last year we kind of had 10 different counties involved, and we've decided to do it again. And there's District 6 and District 7, which is Millard, Sanpete, Sevier, Beaver, Wayne, Garfield, Paiute, Iron, Kane, and Washington County. Is that 10?
Yeah, that's just about, yeah.
Anyway, so there's going to be people from a lot of different counties and their representatives. They're both their congressmen and their senators. We're going to have some there. So
Which is a really powerful, talk about a powerful punch right there.
Yeah.
It's getting those people involved and those people that represent the specific areas and making sure that our voices are heard. You know, another thing that the Iron County Farm Bureau does is in the fall, well, we did it in July this last year, but we invited legislative bodies out to a farm tour.
Yes, and I wasn't able to make it, but I heard it was a great success. And these kind of interactions to get to know your legislatures and your commissioners and everything is real important because those are the people deciding our future.
Well, and it's also really incredible that, you know, we only know what we don't know, right?
Correct.
And if we don't get them out of their office, if we don't invite them and make sure that they feel welcome, they don't know what they don't know.
And I'd say with our Southern Utah legislatures, the main thing is it reaffirms. They're very supportive of our rural communities and everything, but it just adds validation to them. So, because when they get up in the legislative session, you know, the Wasatch Front and all their problems are really big, and that's where the votes are and everything. But it just reminds them of us, and they do a really good job.
Kind of like the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Correct.
Yeah, we're the wheel, not necessarily the grease, and you know, on a whole nother level. The other really cool thing that the Iron County Farm Bureau does is during each of our meetings, and Scott's really turned the boat around on this from prior years, to my knowledge. But each topic that we have influences not only agriculture but the general community. And the general community, last in December that we had the weed control lesson?
Yes, so in December we had a Amber Hatch came and taught us how to load the EED weeds map. And weeds are something that each citizen of Iron County and all the listening area needs to be aware of. Agriculture definitely has got to be out there taking care of weeds, but I would encourage everybody, if they have a weed in their backyard, get a hold of somebody or make sure you take care of it. One thistle, the seeds on that are enough seeds for thousands and thousands of plants for decades. So to let one of them go, yeah, it's not just, well, I'll cut it next year, because you planted it for maybe the rest of the century.
Right. And each one of their, on the snake thistle, right? We're talking about that?
The Russian, the purple.
Yeah, the purple
They're
thistle.
not ornamental flowers.
No, they're not ornamental. But each one of the heads is 1 million seeds.
That's a lot. Yeah.
And depending on the cycle of the seed or whatnot, like it can take 7 years for that single seed to be germinated where it grows properly, and whether or not we have moisture or not moisture and different things. I feel very inadequate talking about the weeds, even though one of my, I have a very good friend who was, you know, associated with the weed control in Iron County for many, many years. But it really is, it's calling, it's reporting those things, it's marking it on the weed map, and we'll have all the links listed in the Wired Wednesday with McKinnon Hansen Facebook page.
So Casey did a great job with our weeds, and now he's moved on, they're gonna put in a full-time weeds person, which I think it's that important. They're getting out of hand. As hard as we're working on them, you just look around and you see a patch that, is missed.
Well, and whether it's city limits or county limits or in the middle of an ag field or in the middle of BLM land or Forest Service land, there's different bodies or different basically companies or individuals in charge of those areas, and knowing where to go to do that is also important.
Yeah, so if you were to get a hold of the extension office here, they would be able to help you download the app that we have on our phones. And when you are out on the public lands, if you come across a patch of weeds, you could put a GPS location and then report that, and so it could be taken care of. And we need everybody involved in this because they're weeds. They're growing like weeds, and they are.
Really though, and what happens is eventually they come into contact with like our kids and our dogs and our different things because the seed came into our backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in the middle of town.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is snake thistle doing in my backyard?
Well, they travel on the wind, so they can go a long ways.
Well, in the windiest city in Utah, we're either going or
Canaryville, what are we talking about?
Right, Canaryville. No. And it all works out, but it really goes to show like it's a team effort, and whether you're just a general citizen who lives in Cedar City or whether you're involved in ag to any degree, reporting, making sure that those are staying connected is also very important, because eventually it gets into fields where it costs thousands of dollars to spray control and get those out so that the feed is adequate for consumption for our animals.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And then we go and recreate, driving our 4-wheelers up and down the mountain and doing different things, and we roll into one of them. It's a very painful process, I'm sure. With our legislative session, with our legislative visitors on the 11th at the Hampton Inn at the Utah Farm Iron County meeting, what are you hoping to bring to light? Is there any specific topics that we want to make sure that they hear this year?
The main thing we kind of want to talk about the successes we've had in agriculture in the last year and the trials we're facing. Agriculture's in a tough spot. I mean, we all know about Smithfield pulling out of Beaver County totally now, and it's funny, there's all this talk and this need for pork, and yet we can't seem to get the right people in the right place to get something done about that. We have a lot of things in the state that if the right people could get together. So we're just hoping to kind of talk about all of that with our public lands. This is a huge thing right now, and of course everybody, us grazers, we need the public lands, and we do. But right now, our federal agencies are going through a resource management plan, area by area, forest by forest. And I encourage every one of you to be involved in that process. Like in the Grand Staircase RMP, travel. They were going to close basically all the roads, and we haven't heard what they finally decided to do. Right now in Rock Springs on the BLM, 3.3 million acres, they're basically going to shut down all the access. And so that is huge to the nature enthusiasts, the hunters, every one of us. And we need to be involved, letting our voice be heard, writing letters in, and trying to put our weight on the scale and come out with a favorable outcome.
Well, and it's really interesting because I feel like there's this unspoken division of people. There's either ag people or non-ag people, right? But ag people eat food just as much as non-ag people eat food.
Correct.
Most of us wear clothing too, and that's an ag-based product, by the way. And without farmers and ranchers, we wouldn't eat or be clothed. Now, really think of that.
Without agriculture, you'd be hungry, naked, and sober. So,
very, very true. Because it's it's kind of an all of us thing. And granted, technology has improved over the last 100 years, where it's more efficient and we're getting more food per acre and different technologies in that area. So less people have to be directly involved in agriculture. But it really goes to show that those other people can create synergy.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, last year, though, the United States became a net importer of food.
Which is an issue.
That's
It's a
little
national
scary.
security issue.
Yeah, that's a little scary. If you want to rely on foreign countries to produce your food, you know, somebody else can have a little more money and we can be hungry really quick. We all remember during the pandemic, the shelves bare. And in my opinion, the shelves aren't all that stocked still. I mean, it's funny.
Oh, no,
to
I
see.
agree with that 100%. I was at the store yesterday going, well, where is all this stuff?
Yeah.
Well, and really, truly, in Cedar City, we saw shelves get bare in less than 3 days, right? And granted, some people were coming as far as Las Vegas into our grocery store. So it's not our specific communities that I'm concerned with. It's people coming into our communities because their community ran out quickly, right? And we talk about the whole transportation of food. Truckers out there, everybody in a box truck, like a semi, you know, move over, get out of their way, whatever. They're hauling your food. They're hauling supplies for food. And as soon as those trucks stop or they can't get in or they don't have material to get somewhere, we're going without.
Yeah. Being a trucker, that's good advice. When you see a truck, just stay away. I mean, you don't know what them guys are doing in there. They might be taking a nap, so
Well,
give them plenty of room.
As we're coming into winter storm warning, there you go, Dr. T. But it
No,
really...
we're not. Stop with the panic. You don't even have an advisory for us yet. Yes, the mountains. Yes, I do that. All right,
No,
thanks.
but it just...
You work for 311, don't you? Your life is about to end, and we're here to tell you about it. Thank heavens we're here. Stop it.
Well, make sure you have your life insurance in place.
Okay, there is that.
Very good insurance days.
Right?
Snow and life insurance, yeah.
But I mean, and really just bringing it back a little bit, you know, it's a full circle. Everybody can be involved to some degree with agriculture, and whether you're a vegetarian or, you know, a carnivore or whatever, all of those things are grown and harvested by agriculture, ag-related.
Well, we all rely on agriculture and the Earth's natural resources. I mean, we just do. Without all of those, we have nothing.
Right.
Everything comes from the Earth.
Even Tupperware and all these like pre-container divided meal things that everybody's super fantastic about, those all started somewhere, and petroleum makes plastic and it has to be harvested.
Yeah.
Wait, that's called drilling, for those of you who didn't follow that.
If we all went to electric vehicles, we would still have to have a lot of petroleum because tires, everything is petroleum based.
Right, it's incredible, and unfortunately, some chemists have also put petroleum in some food. Well, read the labels.
So real quick, another thing we got in Utah, 19th to the 21st in Salt Lake is the American Farm Bureau Convention. So
Ooh, the big dogs are coming.
The big dogs are coming.
The January 19th through the 22nd in Salt Lake. Make sure and get that information. Thank you so much for joining us for Wired Wednesday. This is your host, McKinnon Hansen, your local Farm Bureau financial agent, 435-592-2021.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. One last time, let's get a final check of what's happening on the highways.
Yeah,
Captain
great.
Craig, what are you seeing out there this morning, my friend?